Hi, everyone. Welcome to episode number 8 of the Nosedive podcast. I'm Vinie. Next to me, we have Mark. Mark, how have you been doing this week?
I'm good. Yes, I'm good. I have not been one wheeling. Unfortunately, I planned to, but it was too cold, and it was so cold that I'd left my GT out in my van, um, and then brought it in to. Well, I went to go and start it up to go for a little run down to the little Shires track because a tree fell down. So me and the kids wanted to go and have a look. Press the on button, and my soul left my body because I've had issues with a pint tire, issues with a pint sensor, and then my GT was just dead, and I was like, it has to be.
Cold?
It got too cold. It has to be. It has to be. It got too cold. Brought it in, left it, came back, and then flashing yellow light about an hour later. I'm either too hot or too cold. Thank fuck, because I think I would have lobbed that one wheel pretty damn far if it had been anything else other than that. That's the first time I've ever experienced it, so that just shows how freaking cold it has got. And at that point, I was like, I don't want to go out anyway. It's too fucking cold for that. What about you?
The electronics don't really match with the cold. I used to have it in the mountains as well when shooting cameras. I always had to keep my batteries onto my body to keep them warm and then plug them into the camera. So yeah. I've been doing good, man. Health wise, everything is going a lot better. I've been one wheeling a bit with the skirt team. We've been reaching out to indoor locations, as mentioned in the previous podcast.
I saw the little clips of the skate park video. Yeah.
Yeah, we had a good session on Friday night, which was cool because it kind of no, it was a Sunday night. Sorry, Sunday night. It kind of reminded me of the old school skate sessions because we used to do that like on Friday nights and Sunday nights, gather a crew and just go to a skate park in the winter to learn new stuff. And actually, it was one of the first skate parks that was open to the one wheels because normally you cannot drive any motorized vehicles in there,
Right.
but they made an exception for us. We got to know the owner of the place or the curator, and he's a mountain bike dude from Get Insane. They have some really cool stuff going on. They even do shows with their friends. Really cool community. And we talked to them, and they were like, "Okay, give it a go. That's like the best timing when it's not too busy." And they opened up from 4 to 7 for us, and we gathered some skirt boys and some other people that connected, and it was really cool session. Really nice.
It looked like a really big interior building from the clips that I've seen. It looked like a big spot.
Yeah, it's a big hall, and it's all concrete, so everything is solid. That's what makes it quite accessible with the one wheel, and it's like the smoothened out concrete, so you can slip and slide on the floor, which makes it interesting. Also, when you fall, that's a good thing because then you just slide over the floor and you don't get scraped. Very good for safety. And there's like 2 sections. You have a beginner section, which is very one wheel friendly. It's all low curbs, lower rails, some drops. And then next to it, you have the pro section, which has some big stair sets and some bigger drops. And yeah, it was really nice, especially with I used to skateboard a lot. Jaffa as well. Jaffa is a very good skateboarder in the past. Ghost has also some skate and snowboard experience, so it was nice to have them together. Alexis also joined, which is also still a good skateboarder. So it was kind of a mix of a skate and one wheel session. And some nice things happened. The video will be dropping, or maybe already dropped when the recording is out. So give it a look.
I look forward to seeing it, or I have enjoyed it once I've seen it. I'm not too sure whether it's past tense or pre-tense. I'm losing it a little bit there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the only thing I have actually done other than get cross with the one, I rode the pint. I stole my son's pint and rode it down to the field, and it was very, very slushy. But the mud had just sort of defrosted, so it's like one part was slushy, the next bit was frosted. But because I decided not to go one wheeling, I just decided to build another ramp instead for the Shires. I have lots of scrap bits of wood. We ended up, I've worked it out now. I've probably saved about $1,000 by just borrowing permanently some scrap wood from the builders that use the local yard on our farm. But I've got to the point now that there is nothing left. So I've actually had to spend money on building materials for the next few ramps that I'll be making. Are actually going to actually cost some money. I've even run out. I'll tell the team I've run out of recycled screws. I am that stingy. I will all the things that the builders will make. They've got like frames and stuff that they then don't use. I take all the screws out of them, use the bits of wood, and then reuse the screws as well. Why not? Why not? It's proper eco-friendly ramps, but they're now brand spanking new, fresh bits of wood. I think one of the oldest ramps is probably made out of beams of wood that are at least 200 years old, and those are the ones we used last year. So I have been very, very eco-friendly with our features, but now we're going full on clean cuts of wood. So I got into the process of that. I'm getting quite quick at building ramps now. It's easy when you do it. It really is, and I encourage anybody just to make some little kickers and things. So that's sort of the only one wheel related thing. And I didn't even test it because I've learnt that. I don't know whether I've shared this on social media before. I don't think I have. I might have shared it with yourselves. When I made a seesaw last year for Shred the Shires that we ended up not using, I rode it when it was a little bit frosty and then didn't ride my one wheel for about 8 weeks after that due to an injury to my back because I went down and smacked myself. So I've learnt that I'll make the ramps, that's fine, and the kickers and all the rest of it, but they'll get tested when the sun comes out and it stops being frosty and cold because I'm just not that stupid anymore. Yeah. I say that it is in a barn and it is very tempted, and I have done other sketches to make even bigger ramps to bolster onto the end of that, so it might get a little bit silly, but we'll have to see.
So those will all be used on the Shred the Shires track?
That's the plan. That's the plan. It kind of ties into what Austin was saying about liking to have sort of wider tracks so that people can overtake on features and stuff, because a lot of features on a lot of tracks are your thinner ramps or your kickers or things like that. So we've got 5-6 ramps in total, and each pair is the same height, so they could be used as a tabletop or kickers or whatever. So the intention is to have basically 2 and a bit meter wide features for people to be able to then go over those features and overtake on them should they feel courageous enough to do so. But then they can all be brought over to our trick area as well to be used in the trick competitions and just sort of the practice areas. Yeah, so we're looking forward to that. But we have a new sponsor as well, Vault Tour.
Okay,
they do the Madness events.
Is that Luke?
Luke is part of their team, but it's a chap called Paul Burgess who reached out to me. They're doing some stuff for Send It Surrey, and he said he was actually I checked for him. He was the first person to buy a ticket for Shred the Shires, literally like 5 minutes after we launched our tickets. So he's going to bring some extra kickers and ramps and stuff and a little high jump as well.
They do have some stuff available because I've been seeing some videos via Luke's channel where they are doing some demos on these kind of events, and it looks very well set up. It's kind of similar to what the Get Insane guys are doing, but they are doing it with a mix of mountain bikes and skateboards and whatever, free runners. And it's cool. It really attracts the crowd because something is going on. People are flying around and doing crazy stuff. So really
it is, and they've got a whole bunch of the sender ramps, the ones that are sort of adjustable and stuff. So we're gonna pick out which we can't bring everything, but he's just going to bring a few little ones to add to our ever-growing pile of, I've got some leftover plywood, I'm going to make another kicker. Some of them are only little tiny kickers, but I've just got piles of the damn things everywhere. I'm terrified of riding over them myself. I don't ride over them. I got rails to slide down that I've made and stuff like that are just made to specifications, but I can't slide on them. Or maybe I should start practicing. Perhaps I should start practicing instead of building these.
Once they're there, things. You have no excuse.
No, I can come up with excuses, but I'm just inherently lazy, I think. Another thing I've seen is our good friend Nelson from No Limits to Ride. He's dropped a video today on a 3D printed fender that he's made for his massive tired one wheel. I didn't quite catch what size tire he's got on that, but it's a beast of a tire.
Yeah, the most of them are like 7 by 11.5, 12. Some the big tire gang is going hard, and for the races it's definitely an advantage. I've seen some really good results this season from guys riding the big tires, so it definitely creates a bit more cushioning for the ride, and end up saving those bumps. But yeah, if you don't want to have wet pants when you're riding the big tire, it might be a good idea. And it looked like a very cool design. It was like a two-piece design.
Yeah,
And
yeah, and
was
he's
it
clearly,
magnetic?
yeah, so he's clearly spent a lot of time working out what systems work best, and it
Mm-hmm.
seems like it's got both parts have got two sets of magnets on the base, and then they clip together at the top. And he's pushing down on it and stuff like that. Because my initial thought was, well, that's going to roll over, and that's just going to pop.
Yeah.
But then my craft and ride magnetic fender, it rolls over and it pops off half the time,
Mm-hmm.
or I lose a bloody magnet, which seems to be the case with most people with those things, unless you use an entire tube of super glue, which I have eventually done. But it looks like a pretty good build, so I immediately send it to Ben, who made our medals, and he made the EOL medals as well this year. And I went, have a look at this. Can you scale it down at all? I was thinking, we'll have to see if Ben can. Ben's very good engineer, so he might be able to sort of scale it down to other sized one wheels as well. But yeah, Nelson's putting it out there as on Thingiverse on the 3D printing thing. I'll try and link somehow, but go and check out Nelson No Limits to Ride and just watch his video, and all his links are there. He's even linking in the magnets he's used from Amazon.
Okay, man.
So helpful. A lot of people, because it is a good looking design, a lot of people would try and profit from that. But Nelson's just got love for the community, and I'm excited to see if Ben make one. Make it pink and green. You know what I'm on about, pink and green.
Yeah, Nelson is such a good guy. He's always so transparent and always sharing everything. He's been really supporting the community a lot, and we might be doing something together with him this year.
Is he cooking?
We haven't asked him yet, or the idea has not been on the table. So Nelson, if you see this, are you cooking?
Whatever it is, we'll be there. We'll be there.
Yeah,
The man is
such a
mighty
treat
good chef. I'm going to edit it there because we are clearly filling for Rachel to join us. Oh, she's seen the links. They're with her. The ticks are blue. And as if by magic.
Welcome, Rachel.
Thanks. I was waiting in the other link you had sent me for the whole time, so I don't know if this just came through or what.
You can blame me for that. That's technical hitch somewhere along the line. I must have sent an old link, but I apologize for that.
Oh, no worries.
But welcome.
Okay. Thank you. All right, sweet. How are you guys doing today?
All goody.
Very well, very well.
Is it late over there for y'all?
So for me, it's 7:30.
Okay.
Vinny's an hour ahead.
Yeah.
Nice. Dinner time. I like it.
Yeah.
Don't mention food.
Oh, you guys haven't eaten yet?
He hasn't.
I've been going at it all day, and I got stuck in traffic on the way home. And it was really hectic. Like, it was a very foggy day in Belgium, and the moment something happens in Belgium, people cannot ride their cars anymore. And then there was an accident, and I had to jump into the podcast. Like, the pizza is waiting downstairs. I can smell it.
Oh, I mean, I wouldn't care if you ate your pizza while we chatted.
No worries, no worries.
Okay.
I won't even mention that I did a midweek roast then, where we had some roast beef, roast potatoes, carrots, some leftover pea risotto, some Yorkshire puddings. Nice. Yeah, a little. So I'm a little bit bloated actually, Vinny. If I'm going to stop. I apologise. Let's talk about one wheels instead of winding Vinny up, although it is an enjoyment of mine, if I'm honest.
I love it.
So is it like 2:30 for you?
Yeah. It's like 2 in the afternoon, 2:30. So halfway or more than halfway done with work today. We've got like 3 hours left, so powering through. But I'm excited to chat with you guys.
Yeah, we'll help you kill an hour of that at least.
Oh yeah.
We were just saying we try and stick to sort of the questions and things that we want to talk about, but that never happens. And I often have loads of stuff that I want to go through, and at the end I go, oh well, next time. But we'll see how we get on today. So I mean, the first thing I want to say is not once, not twice, but three times, pro ladies champion for Race for the Rail.
Yeah, man.
Very well fucking done. Very well done.
Thank you.
Very well done.
It was not easy at all. So much work, so much hard work went into that. So I'm just grateful it all paid off, you know?
Yeah, I wanted to ask you that, like, how do you prepare for races?
Yeah, man. Well, I mean, I do a lot of training. Like whenever I'm in it, I get an hour lunch break from 12 to 1, and I can get to trails on my one wheel from my house in 8 minutes. So I will ride to the trails and then I'll bust out probably like 6 miles of trails training, and I'll practice some starts and just ride as hard as I can. And I'll gradually take it up throughout, depending on where we're at with the season. And that depends on what pads I'm wearing. So the more pads I'm wearing, the harder I'm going. Less pads, I'm keeping it more chill. So I'm definitely riding trails. I do a ton of mobility work, just making sure my body's healthy. I cross train with cycling, and I also rock climb a lot. I do balance boards, just making sure my legs are ready for anything. And yeah, and then it's just going out there and treating every race like it's the championship and getting it done. So, I mean, it's worked out for me the last couple of years.
Hell yeah.
So, yeah, but it's been a lot of work.
So in the last sort of 4 or 5 years, has that what you say 8 minutes to get to trails, has that gone down from sort of 11 minutes to 10 minutes to 9 to we're looking at mid start of the season? Are we aiming for 7 minutes to get to the trails now?
No. I lived in this house for about 2 years, so like that accessibility has been there, and I try not to go crazy out on the road, so it's pretty consistent 8 minutes. I like to ride slow personally. I love tricks, so I try not to be crazy out in the streets because I have to ride on the road to get over there. But yeah.
Vinie is all about the mobility stuff, all the stretching and,
Oh yeah.
and shit. What sort of mobility things do you do? What is it? Stretching? Is it yoga? What's on the cards?
I have a little like flow that I do before like tricking or trail riding or rock climbing or whatever I might be doing. So I like do some cat cows to get my spine going. And then we go into like a down dog, and then like the world's greatest stretch where you're like opening up your hip flexors and everything, and then hamstrings into dorsiflexion, making sure you have, when you're turning, toe side, you need to have that acute angle on your ankles. So just making sure like I can get that as acute as I can. And then pigeon pose, making sure my hips are nice and open. And then I do it on the other side, and I'll do some like low squats to kind of help with that mobility and the dorsiflexion again on the ankles. Because, if your ankles aren't right, then you're going to be in trouble with one wheel racing. And yeah, I do that before every race, before every practice session. And it's just good for you. If you don't move it, it's going to stop moving,
Yeah, I can totally relate to that because I'm getting a bit older. I'm already 42, and I used to not stretch at all when I was younger. But these days, I definitely taught my body to prepare for stuff, because if you just ride out, it's not an issue. But the moment that you take a slam or take a strange twist, your body is actually stretching a lot further than it's normally used to. And if you're not prepared in that moment, that's where you get torn muscles and all of that. So a lot of people say not to stretch before the activities, but I have this like crazy dance that I do to open up everything and just to get used to movements that you're not used to.
Yeah,
I think I'm the only person in my gym that actually stretches before they work out. Now, it doesn't look like I actually go to the gym, but I try to go to the gym.
Yeah.
I actually did. We did, because Vinie and I have been talking. Well, no, it's not Vinie. It's always me. I'm glad you're 42. I'm 45 this year, which is not great, but there you go. So you got to start somewhere. I actually did a yoga on the weekend, I think. And I swear, that was on Friday. And on Sunday, I woke up and went, fuck, my shoulders. And I hadn't done anything extra. I hadn't been to the gym anything like that. And I was like, why do I hurt? It's like, that's a freaking yoga. Because I hadn't, and all the things you're saying, I listened to got the YouTube video on, and I recognize some of the words from sort of the internal screaming as I'm there in downward dog, and it's like, press down in your fingertips. And I went, I can't even stretch my hands to get them flat on the floor, let alone press my fingertips into the floor. So it is impressive. I understand you have to keep doing it.
Yes. On the off season, if I'm not doing it, I'm feeling it. I'm like, oh gosh. Or if I skip the gym a little bit, I'm like, get in the car to go to the gym. I'm like, I'm excited to stretch. Like, just go get some stretching and then get after it. But yeah, it's a good habit.
Maybe. Maybe.
So you also mentioned rock climbing. Is that like hanging on big cliffs or the boulder stuff, or what you're doing there?
Yeah, so I guess most of the time, just because it's accessible to me, there's like an indoor bouldering gym
Oh,
that's like 5 minutes from my house. So we do a lot of indoor bouldering. I've been doing that for probably like 3 years now. I love it. It's just great for body control and just strengthening your core and just good for moving your body and trusting your feet too, which is kind of interesting how it ties into one wheel. Like anything can tie in.
hmm
But yeah, trusting your feet and just moving and being flexible, it's good. And then I do some ropes climbing as well. And then occasionally we'll do like an outdoor trip, maybe once or twice a year.
One thing that really helped me most, I had used to have very brittle ankles from skateboarding,
Mm.
and I twisted them a
Mm-hmm.
lot, and I started slacklining. Have you ever done that?
Oh. I've hopped on it like here and there, but it's not something that I've like gone out and tried to master.
Yeah,
Can you do like tricks and stuff on it?
a bit. There's a few yoga
Love it.
poses and some small jumps
Oh.
that I can do, but it has
Yeah.
strengthened my ankles so much because there's a lot of small muscles around your joints, and it's very hard
Mm-hmm.
to train them. And the slack line, the moment you step onto it, your body starts shaking and you have to get that under control. And it really helped a lot in strengthening those ankles. And I never roll them anymore. So, and I have even have like in the background, you can see it. There's like a
Oh.
I've
slack line
seen those, yeah.
on a board,
Yeah.
like, and you can actually do indoor slackline exercises on that. So really interesting.
I would
Small
break
thing.
Wow.
something,
Okay.
seriously would break something, either of me or in the house, if I went on anything like that. Jeez, man. That's
Nice. I love
excellent.
it.
That is
Yeah, good
excellent.
workout. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I've seen those on Instagram and stuff, but I haven't played around on them. I think somebody had them at Seek and Shred this year, but I didn't hop on it. But that thing's
Mhm.
pretty cool.
In Portugal, we got the Sphera boards. There's like it's another dimension to balance boarding. Normally you have it on a roll and you have a
Yeah.
board on that, and they have it on a ball. It's a small ball, a
Oh.
hard ball, and you roll it, and you can go all directions, which really
Hmm.
looks cool. You're
Let
already
me show
thinking.
you. Well, let me show you what I usually train on really quick
Ooh,
for
there's the
my balance
swords too.
board.
I
There.
know,
Oh,
I know. Look at those. That's better than a
my
locker,
swords.
Austin. That's better than a locker. It's above the fireplace.
Oh, yes. And then we got number
Hey.
Why?
3. So when I'm training and it's rainy in Atlanta, I've got one of these
Okay.
discs.
Yeah.
And then this is a feel wheel. I don't know if you guys have seen these, but it essentially like kind of mimics what a one wheel would feel like. So in order
Okay.
to kind of enhance it, I'll stack it on here, and then you can hit all of the directions. So
Yeah.
I'll put this together in my little office one wheel room over here, and then I'll put on a trail riding video, whether it's mountain biking or one wheeling. I'll put that on, and then I'll pretend like I'm the one that's riding the trail. Just anything
Visualizing.
to train during the rainy season, and it helps. It's quite a workout, honestly. So
My gym's treadmill has those really annoying videos where I don't know where the person's walking, but they're like in the big
oh no,
redwoods, and it's just the best trails in the world, and I'm just there plodding on a treadmill without any wind. I
yep.
can't even look out a window. There's no windows in my gym. I'm just plodding there along, going, "Well, that looks really
Oh,
bloody nice."
right. You need a little VR headset or something to really like immersify.
Is that the next big thing? I haven't been in a gym in 10 years and it used to be just metal things like thrown to a wall. Is that now a thing? Like you have movie theaters
Yeah,
in the gym?
you can have TV on Netflix. You can play games on the
No.
screens and stuff.
That's cool.
Yeah. I mostly work out in nature. I'm more of an outdoorsy person, so I'm not up to snuff.
Hmm. You're like, I don't need this screen. I'm slacklining in the forest already.
Yeah, that's more my cup of tea.
Love it.
So, Rachel, in 2022, it was some dude called Kyle Hansen won the men's race of the rail, and then obviously yourself. And then 23 was some guy called Tyler James, and then yourself. 24 was some guy. I mean, he chatted to us, but Austin, whatever his name was, and then yourself. 2025?
No,
No.
I'm gonna take a step back. Yeah, I'm not racing this year.
Ooh.
Yes. I'm so excited to just chill. I think that I've had enough. You know, it's like I said, there's so much work doing it, and it's so stressful for me too, because like once you're at the top, there's only one way to go down, and you know, the Float Life, they put a target literally on my back on my jersey this year, which is crazy. So I'm excited to kind of take a step away from racing. I think that it's going to be like an end of an era, you know. I think I can really claim that I was the best hookless head-to-head racer out there. And I think that everything's going to kind of transition into hooks within ORL, which is going to be great. And I'm excited to watch it and see what happens. And if I'm like, dang, I miss racing, then maybe I'll come back. But honestly, like when I got into one-wheeling, I absolutely loved trick riding. You know, I'm one of those people, one of that small group of people who have been to every Float Life Fest, starting at Float Life Fest 2. And that's kind of where I put my name on the map. Was, you know, I didn't win that race, but I did beat Raquel McCosker in the trick competition in a sudden death, which was so cool. And that's kind of how everyone's like, oh my God, Rachel Cecil, who is that? And when you're training and kind of focused on winning $10,000, you're not going to try to risk your body by battling a drop shove or just hacking at your calves trying to land a 360 shove. But that's what I want to do this year. So
excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, I want to get back into tricks.
You could sort of just attend one of the events just wearing all your gear and just sort of stare at people and then not go to the start line. Just go, nah, I'm joking, I'm joking.
There's so much
psych them out
that I want to do like outside of one wheeling, because it takes a lot of my PTO, you know. Yeah. I know it's a little different from you guys across the ponds, but I only get a certain amount of days I can take off, and at a certain point, one-wheeling racing just kind of felt like a second job, and I'm like, I don't want a second job. I just want to go play with my best friend, you know?
Yeah.
So I'll definitely be at Float Life Fest this year. Like, I'm committed to that because I do clinics every year, and I talked to Justin about it. So I'll still be at Float Life Fest, but I'm excited to just kind of watch from the sidelines and see what happens and cheer everybody on and everything.
I was excited. What I wanted to really I was most excited about was to see how the design of 3 swords on your top would be, because you had the 2 swords across. I was wanting one on the back, you know, sort of like drawing it out the back or something.
Yeah, the tricky thing with 3 swords, so tough. They're kind of thick and they're really heavy, so I think stacking them, I could probably stack it in the middle.
A Game of Thrones style going on.
Yeah, and if it falls over, it would just take something out. But I could try stacking in the middle and see what it looks like. But I have a single sword holder in my bedroom that this one usually sits on like this, and then I've got the other 2 ones over there. And all my other trophies are like in that fire pit back there.
How does it feel to pull up that sword in the moment? We always see it on video, but how does it feel?
Yeah, honestly, like nothing will beat like the feeling of getting it the first time. Like 2022, that was crazy, because like not only was I coming off of a second place the year before, but I was like trailing that entire race and did something that's really hard to do in one-wheel racing, which is passing, making a clean pass at a 98th% point of that race.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
And it was really tight. So crossing the finish line like that, and winning after, you know, not the year before, was just an incredible feeling. So pulling that sword, oh my gosh, absolutely incredible. Nothing will beat that. And then obviously the second one, nobody had ever won it twice, you know, and I really worked my butt off for that one. And I had an automatic bid, so I didn't have to, you know, spend all my PTO racing. So I went to Oak City Shred Fest that year and got the dub there, and then showed up at Race for the Rail. And nobody was like,
I know. I remember. I can't remember who was commentating at the time, but it was a case of, you know, it was one of those, the unknown. We know she went last year, but no one's seen her do anything else.
What's going to happen?
Yeah. We've just been sitting.
Everyone forgot I was at Oak City. But I was at Oak City, and yeah, once again, nobody really expected me to win. And then I went out and did very well and got the dub there. So that was another case of like, wow, my hard work really paid off. And then coming into 2024, it was really an emotional year because, there's the whole like pro team thing that happens, and like that wasn't really a discussion with me. I was just told because I was on the East Coast that I wasn't eligible, I guess. And I was told that like an hour before they announced it.
Wow.
So that was a little bit tough.
Yeah,
that definitely
stings.
Yeah, that one stung. That one, it was something. But you know what? It's okay. I'm stoked for the sport. I'm stoked that that's a thing now. The Float Life took great care of me in 2024. So I think like overcoming those feelings and putting in the work again
And kicking ass.
and kicking ass, and actually like getting my win streak broken by Zane at Seek and Shred was also like a really cool feeling because I'm like, okay, like
The future's here.
streak is broken, the future's here.
No, I know.
I'm very excited about it.
I noted it down. You got first at Oak City, second at Seek and Shred, first at Wheel Scorcher, and then Race for the Rail, obviously.
First a Race for the Rail, yeah. Yeah, Seek and Shred, I mean, I crashed in Seek and Shred. I broke one of my rules, which was like, trust your training, trust your lines. And I didn't take the drop, and I took the kind of B line and then crashed on the B line. And I'm like, what? Why would you do that? Yeah, so it's okay. Zane absolutely crushed that race. She won by a mile. So I was stoked to get that streak broken and then then I went to, Wheel Scorcher. That was like probably my favorite race.
Okay, that's one of my questions. One of my questions is which was your favorite? Okay, what made it your favorite?
In terms of head-to-head, like the final, it was Zane on her 5-inch hub and her overlanders, I think. And then it was Rachel Payne. I don't remember if she had a 5-inch hub or not, but she had an overlander in the back. And then you have me on my 6-inch hub that I had just snagged. Also, my board bricked before that race.
Oh.
So I was on someone else's GTS, but I had my hub and my tail and no hooks. And then managed to get the whole shot and beat them with those advantages, and they're both just incredible racers. So I think coming out of that, like winning with that setup right before going into the Race for the Rail, where I would be riding that same setup, was just like such amazing momentum. So that was probably my favorite race. Like I was like, I don't know if I've got this one, but I did. So I was excited.
Wicked.
The clips from that are pretty sick. If you guys have seen any of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're really on fire there.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, have you ever tried the hooks, riding with the hooks, or are you like, I need the freedom of having to play around with my feet?
Yeah, I think I rode with flight fins in 2018 when they came out, and it was pretty cool. Like, it makes things a lot easier in terms of like doing balance beams and stuff. Like the control is there, but like doing tricks and stuff with them are cool too, like pulling and doing 180s and stuff like that. It's great, but I'm small, and so I think trying to do something like a 360 with the fins was a goal of mine, but the boards are too heavy for me a little bit. I need to get a lot stronger if I want to do something like that. But ultimately I stepped away from riding with hooks because of Race for the Rail. I think when did I start it? 2021 or so. I essentially the whole season rode with Race for the Rail rules, because I'm like, if you make the easy stuff hard, then the hard stuff's easy, you know? And so that's been my strategy the last 3 or 4 years, is just to ride without hooks pretty religiously, just because it's a huge advantage going into Race for the Rail. It's a huge commitment, don't get me wrong. Maybe it's not as fun. It's probably not as fun, but it's painful. But that's the main reason I don't ride with hooks. Yeah, and I also, I broke my ankle in 2017. I was trying to do a body burial bonk, but I was so dumb. And I was doing it like downhill. I had flight fins on. I was going way too fast and ultimately like landed in front of the board and it just sledgehammered my ankle. So I got a bunch of hardware in my leg. So that might be another reason why I don't really ride with hooks. Not that it was flight fins' fault, you know, I'm not blaming it, but that like sucked. So I had to do a lot of rebuilding, and I think rebuilding off of that and just riding without hooks has been super fun. And it makes flatland tricks really fun, which I really enjoy flatland tricks, and I do just fine without the hooks. So, yeah.
I used to have the flight fins. They came with a secondhand board that I bought, but the day after I already sold them because the stance was way too narrow. I come from snowboarding, and I used to have like a really wide stance on my snowboard, and then going to that, it felt like doing pirouettes instead of just doing decent tricks. And then for the hooks, I already tried some, and they're definitely for racing. They keep your foot in place a lot better. They don't really have to be even overhooked because you already have something to put your feet against. That really helps. But for me, I also like to do tricks even in the trails. I like to throw a trick in here and there. And as you said, like having those flight fins or hooks on there limits your possibilities in the tricks. If you want to do like a body varial or another trick, it kind of limits the riding. That's why I also don't really ride with the hooks. That's kind of the reason why.
Yeah, and I think like learning without them and like learning how to do a really clean technical bonk without fins or hooks or whatever, it's just gonna make you a better one-wheel rider. Whereas if you're a beginner and you throw them on there and you're like, I'm hitting this, it feels great, like, but you're not necessarily hitting it at its fullest potential. Maybe, I don't know. That's just I'm a purist, but
I agree with you with that. My youngest, he's 9 years old, and for the last 2 years, because I had flight fins on my Pint when I first got it, for the last 2 or 3 years, he's like, put the flight fins on, Daddy. I'm like, I can't find the bolts for them, I'm terribly sorry, because I don't want him to ride with them. I want him to learn, and he has progressed and is doing kickers and drops and stuff like that without the flight fins. So
there you go.
One day I'll let him put them on there, but he'll have to fit in himself. And actually, generally, I probably can't find the bolts now anyway. So they're just two very beautiful blue, brightly coloured bits of rubber that are of no use to me whatsoever now. But so I agree with you.
You could probably use them as bonk rocks if you wanted.
Possibly, actually. If I hadn't made a load, I've got a trunk full of bonk blocks that I made myself.
Oh,
I've got loads of
that's cool.
things. Yeah. It's one of my silly little projects that I decided to figure out. Can I make my own bonk blocks out of polyurethane? Yes, I can. Costs a lot of money. That's why they're expensive. Anybody buying bonk blocks, they're really expensive because polyurethane is ridiculously expensive. And I know more about that stuff than I ever thought I'd ever know.
I think I have one.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you have one? Let's see it. I feel like I've seen these ones. Let's see.
Which ones you got?
What do you got? Oh, yeah. That's a solid one.
Made, like with the logo, Shred the Shire's logo in there.
Oh, sick.
Yeah, proper job.
Oh, yeah, that's solid.
Still need to do a giveaway with this one. So, Pete, this is coming your way someday.
That's so fun.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun to make them, but it was just a little experiment, like our podcast, just a little experiment. I have these little scratchy ideas, and I'm like, can I do it? Yeah, I can. So, polyurethane 75A. If anybody's looking at making their own bonk blocks, and just don't put too much dye in there, otherwise it weakens the structure. Anyway, Jesus Christ and stuff. I thought I'd never learn one wheeling.
Throw it out there.
Yeah, just have a little go. It's good fun mixing the colours.
Oh, the places you'll go.
Yeah, absolutely. Where will one wheel take me? Yes. To Ireland to buy polyurethane. So you were saying about loving to do the tricks and stuff, and obviously, you like the freedom of your feet on the board when you're doing the tricks. But one of your most recent Instagram videos is you doing shove-its in a remarkably fine pair of boots on the beach, it was the first thing I saw. And I went to the comments, and I can't remember, it was Scotty, somebody had mentioned sort of like, love the boots. I was like, that's the first thing I noticed as well, was these big chuffing pair of boots. And smooth tricks. Smooth.
Yeah. I forgot to grab my like high tops when we were planning on paddleboarding that day, but it was too windy, so they told us not to paddleboard. So we ended up going on a long like one-wheel ride on the beach, my wife and I, Sarah. And got to a spot where she wanted to pick through the shells. I don't like to pick through the shells. I can't find shark's teeth. You know, that's not my jam. So I was like, I'm gonna film some tricks even though I'm in my boots. And yeah, it's been kind of fun, like riding in different footwear that I would never recommend people to do it, but I was catching those shove-its in those boots, not gonna lie.
Hell yeah.
They were sturdy. I was like, would I make a habit out of it? Probably not. But hey, I don't know.
Nice and snug.
Yeah, nice and snug, nice and sturdy. And walking around on the beach with boots like that is honestly a flex because you don't get any sand in your shoes or anything. So it was fun. I had a nice time.
So with focusing on tricks now, what would your current setup be to
for
tackle
my
that?
board? Yeah, I have just like the Float Life slick tire on my board right now. I've got like my GTS set up for it. It's probably not ideal. I have an XR that I've been tricking on for like the last however long, 5 years, maybe 6. So the battery in her is just a little bit lagging. So I'm a little bit interested in maybe doing something with Vesk because that's really where it's at with the tricks, but I've got a lot of learning to do. And I haven't made any progress. Plus, like, I've spent so much money one-wheeling over the years. So much money. So just maybe rocking with what I got.
Never add it up. Never add it up. All those little things that you
That's
bought
none of my business.
that are on the side in the cupboards, ignore them.
Yeah.
Ignore them.
Yes. I like to think that I'm probably, like, even, you know, with all the money, like, I've won racing and everything. So I'm like, it pays for itself, you know? But at this point, I'm like, it's not paying for itself anymore. I'm gonna chill. So, yeah, I have, like, a Cush wide. I've got, like, that slick. I've got the flat foot pads. And I've got the bang bumpers, which is what I'm rocking with right now. So the GTS is nice. It's powerful. Is it ideal to do the tricks that I'm gonna do? Maybe. We'll find out. Keep you posted.
Yeah. So it's a GTS that you're riding.
Yep, I've got a GTS, I've got a GT that's got like the 5-inch hub on it. That's not like ideal for tricks. And then, like I said, I got the XR that's got an OG Vega on it, which I love for like the style of tricking that I do, just like flatland stuff. So I might try to throw it, like I want to do that 360 shove, which is going to be a war. I'm going to get another set of shin guards for the back of my calves to prepare. But yeah, maybe throwing it on that. I think it would catch it. Or I could catch it, so we'll see.
The OG Vega is very underrated when it comes to tricks.
I saw your face light up as soon as you said OG Vega. You're like, yes, the Vega.
Yes. It's the people that know.
That's it. It's there's a lot of people who immediately want to throw out that tire, but if you break it in properly, it's definitely for trick riding. I don't say for streets or whatever, but just trick riding, flat ground stuff. It's really it's a good choice of tire.
Yeah, I landed a hippie jump with that tire. So the hippie jump is also another war, which I think you had somebody on recently that was talking about the hippie jump being their favorite trick. I'm like, you're crazy.
Yeah, it was Vince, and it's all about distributing and pushing on the right spots of your board and keeping it flat. But it's not easy. I've tried it a million times, and it's not easy to find the methodology to do that.
Yes. Yeah, the people that have it like mastered and can throw it consistently like out in the wild, I'm like, I want to do that, but I can't do both really well. You know, like I can't be the best racer and be just this crazy trick rider, like to the level that I want to be at this point, to the level that I know I can be. I just can't do both of them anymore. I'm excited to go be crazy in the streets and try to get those really technical tricks on lock again. I just love it. Like landing a trick like that for the first time is like one of the best feelings ever.
Vince put a little video up a couple of days ago, I think, of people to rate his sort of top 4 tricks of 2024.
Yes.
And I voted on the hippie jump because it was the one he said he landed at in Belgium, which is he's doing the hippie jump over sort of a beam of some sort, but the board and he has a drop as well. So the board's going down a drop as he lands on the board, as the board's gone down the drop. And I was like, Jesus Christ, that was impressive. Really impressive.
There was a 360 shove it in there as well. In the quarter pipe, he rides up the quarter pipe, bam, 360 shove it. And so smooth. His style is on point.
He's incredible. I saw that video. I was like, like jumping a hippie jump is one thing, right? And keeping the board flat is one thing, right? But landing back on it, trusting that it's not going to go primo on you is another. So for him to do that with a drop, oh my gosh. So skilled. That's so wild. I would love to do it, but I'm just scared thinking about it.
Yeah. To be fair, though, you do have a lot of skill. I mean, the lawn mowing you did on your one wheel was exceptional. I mean, that's landscaping quality lawn mowing. I must admit, it was perfect lines, perfect loops. That was beautiful work.
Well, they say I'm the best, so yeah, I get away with using my one wheel with all kinds of things. Like
Bart calls it a utility vehicle. That's what he said on the podcast. It's a utility vehicle, and it certainly is. It certainly is.
As long as you have good weather, like it's probably one of the best camping things you can bring with. Mm-hmm. Like you can bring all your gear out to where you're going, back to the car, gear. Last camping trip I did, I was just unloading firewood from my trunk. So I was just with my gloves, getting a piece of firewood over to the thing. It was like not even very far, but it was so efficient to do that.
Yeah.
I think if you can ride switch on your one wheel like pretty efficiently, you can do anything you really want on a one wheel.
Yeah. Makes a lot of things a lot easier. I do a lot of camera stuff, and it's like the perfect dolly. It's a smooth ride, and you can take it anywhere, even in the dirt. You have a smooth ride. So.
Yeah, I've used it to roll my lawn. That's what I used it for. I can't believe
there you go.
I can't believe I'm telling people this, but I relayed sort of the turf on the lawn and stuff like that, and it was just so clunky and lumpy, and I just fuck, it was soft, and I just up and down. So 25-meter long straight yard was just up and down and up and down. It was great, brilliant. Yeah, it was pretty much. Yeah, and I think the neighbours must have thought I was weird because this head is just going back and forth over the fence, just like hello. Nice to see you. Carry on up and down.
Things the neighbors must say about us.
Yeah. There's also some time.
I also use it to walk my dogs too.
Yep.
Do you guys have dogs as well?
I wish.
I think I saw.
I wish.
No,
no,
I don't have
no dogs.
No
my girlfriend. If my girlfriend's watching, she'll be like, "I can go and get a dog now."
This is Squid. He is the best with my one wheel. He has hit, I think, like 22 miles per hour with me on the one wheel.
Wow.
Which is so crazy. He's fast. He loves the one wheel.
So running along.
And then running along. So I've trained both my dogs since they were puppies to like stay toe side where I can see them. So they have like specific one wheel riding, walking commands. So we've got toe side and we've got hold. So if it's a stop sign, hold and they'll stop. And then if they kind of get a little squirrely, I'm like, hey, toe side, and they'll get back toe side. So he loves to run. And then Sage, she's my pitty. She's probably sleeping on the couch in the other room, but she loves to just chill and sniff. So I can just carve and hang out with her. So
we do. We have our token dog, which is Freddie, who's James and Kate's dog. He's great.
Cool.
He's everyone knows Freddie. He comes on the rides when we go to Belgium and stuff like that. He's just nice. He's great at running along. There's another friend of mine, Luke. He's the guy that made the galleon, the sort of the freakish pint that was squeezed up and then he put the board on top of it. Luke made that, but he also has an XR that has an extra additional platform for his, I think it's a Egyptian greyhound. So it can, it's designed to go at a moderate pace for long distances rather than sprinting. Yes. So literally he gestures to the dog and it just jumps up onto the edge of the extra wide platform he's made for his board. And it just sits on there, just cruises along the pathway. That's not the only weird thing that Luke has made, but he's currently in the process of making something else. I think Craft and Ride posted a sneaky picture of it, and everyone lost their freaking minds because it was a weird, massive tire with a frame around it and stuff. I've had a look, and it's an ankle chopper. Let's just say that. But he'll be releasing it very soon. He's building batteries and things for it, so. Luke, we're looking forward to seeing your new build. We'll have to get Luke on at some point. Our list of people that I keep saying, got to get on the podcast, is growing continuously. So when Luke has that board ready, we'll have to get him in with us. But there's so many different things that people have done with one wheels.
Yeah.
In Belgium, we even have a dude that is floating with a bird. He has a raven.
What? A raven?
That he trained.
Cool.
and he
Fucking
just
Raven.
goes. Yeah, he actually bought a. I think it's still a Plus or one of the first models, and
Oh yeah,
he's been riding out with that bird like on a daily basis almost. And I have a
the bird probably
video.
loves it.
Yeah, I have a video on the Skirt Instagram of him. Like we go out on a session, and he has this like little thing that he shakes, and it makes noise, and the bird always comes back, flies away, goes along with the ride.
Oh,
Yeah, it's really cool.
That's
that's
ridiculous.
really sweet.
Yeah, he trained it.
Wow.
Wow. God.
Yeah,
Sorry.
it's a dude in Ghost Town, so it's a lot of weird stuff
I
happens
was
in
going to
Ghost
say,
Town.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, if Goes is there, then definitely it's going to be something weird happening in the place. Jesus.
Oh, that's so
Yeah.
cool.
He's been living beyond the wall, I think.
God.
So Rachel, what would be your best memory on the one wheel from all those years that you have been shredding?
Oh my goodness. That's such a tough question.
First one that comes to mind.
The first one that comes to mind. There's so many that come to mind. I think that is so hard. That is a really good question. My best memory. So during the pandemic, I really tried to like buckle down and land the 360 body burial, which I don't know if you have that trick in your bag, but it is such a hard trick to do.
Yeah.
And I worked on that trick probably for like years, probably like 2 years it took me to get it. It was crazy. But during the pandemic, like we weren't doing anything. So I took like 2 foot pads and I took like an old tire and I put it in the middle on the ground like this and was just trying to land the 360 body, which is such a stupid memory. But it was just one of the ones that came to mind where I was just trying to like figure out how to land this trick and how to get my feet on the foot pads, and I didn't end up even landing it with that setup, which is really dumb. But I think like just going out and trying to do that and like committing to just like landing something really tough and technical, just like in a random piece of grass in a random parking lot, is just, I don't know, there's something that is, I wouldn't say like romantic about it, but it is so like doing tricks on a one wheel. Like you have to figure it out. There's nobody that's going to teach you this. At least like in the early days when I was learning tricks, like there was nobody I could reach out to like some of the guys and they would kind of give me some tips, but it's like there wasn't really anyone else where I lived that was doing what I wanted to be doing. So like I had to figure it out on my own. So like going out and doing tricks during the pandemic, I think was one of my favorite memories. Yeah. And then I think there's a lot of memories in St. Augustine, Florida, where I lived as well. There's this like famous bridge, and St. Augustine's like a pretty small town, but there's this main bridge. It's called the Bridge of Lions that goes over. And if you scroll way down through my Instagram, you can find this video. But there's like a small little pedestrian block wall that runs along the road. And so there's just the road where cars are, and then there's like the sidewalk. And there is the perfect little thing that if you want, you can ride up on your one wheel on it.
Okay, yep.
So there was one night where we were on a group ride and they're like, oh, like somebody could totally ride a one wheel on that. And I was like, all right. And I like rode on it and rode the whole bridge. And I was like the first person, maybe the only person to do that. We were back in St. Augustine. That's where I was with the video I posted recently. And I was looking at it and we were coming from the opposite direction. And I'm like, this was crazy. Like, I cannot believe that I did this. I was like 21. I was like, this is nuts. And then I get to the other side of the bridge and I see where the lineup is to get up on it. And I was like, oh, I see why I did that. Like, it's so easy to get up there, you know? So yeah, the Bridge of Lions, just some early memories, but yeah, I don't know.
Cool.
That was a really
Yeah.
bloody
You guys
good question, Vinny. That was a good question.
That was a really, yeah, you guys should ask more people that question.
Yeah, you
That
think we
was a
plan
good one.
shit, but we don't. We try, but we don't.
No, I've been binging y'all's podcast to kind of prepare, and I've been loving it. It's really cool to like chat with like the one wheelers like across the ponds and kind of explore like y'all's culture, because it's really different. It's really different and cool. I think I was chatting with Jeff McCosker about it. Like y'all's racing scene is so different he was describing it to me because you have the different batteries and different weight, and you can overpower it. You got different tires and hubs and like everything you can imagine. And I'm like, it sounds like BattleBots. I'm like, oh my gosh. And then you were describing your friend who built something else that was like gnarly and different and cool and weird. And I'm like, oh my gosh, new robot on the scene. Let's go. So I think it's so neat.
Luke, do not fit an arm to that thing with an axe. He would. Luke is that kind of guy. He's a welder and an engineer. He probably could have a little arm.
Did we discover a new sport?
Maybe. Oh God.
Maybe.
Oh God.
Yeah, but then you definitely need some good boots as well to ride it. Because if you're going to be chopping with an axe,
you'd probably need some armor. Like you would have to be. It would be a whole thing. Yeah. That would be cool.
Yeah. So in Europe, we kind of have a hard time getting women involved in racing. Do you have any like tips or tricks for the women riders out there to go at it?
Yeah, that's tricky. Like I think that I personally, have done a lot of work in like building out and representing the women in the U.S. And I think it's been really cool to see how it's taken off. I think it really just takes like one person like holding space for the women to kind of get out there. And then like at every event, you know, if I'm like there and I see somebody, like I remember when I met Sarah Meeker for the first time, like I was chilling, like resting after kind of practicing. This was at Dirt Surfers in 2021, maybe 2022. But I was resting and I saw her, and I think she was like parked next to me or whatever, and she had come back from the trails, and she just looked like so defeated because she was riding with like a group of guys, and she was like, I just don't think like I can do this, like I don't know if this is for me. And I was like, dude, this is totally for you, like you could do this. And I saw two of the women that I met and like bonded with at Drift Sisters, which is like our like women's one-wheel retreat thing, and they were going out on the trails. And I was like, yo, like, Brenda, can she go with you right now? You guys going? And she was like, yeah. I was like, Sarah, go with them and go ride the trails with them for a minute. She was like, okay. And, like, she came back from that little ride with them, and she was, like, so stoked. And, yeah, so I think, like, it just takes, like, women, like, being women and bonding together and holding space for that to grow. But it'll happen as long as you're kind of there nurturing it and holding space and encouraging them. Like we've got Drift Sisters, which is so great, but it's not really like an environment for racers, I guess. Like we don't have any like super prolific racers that really go to Drift Sisters to improve. Like a lot of it is beginners, and those beginners certainly like get into racing. So like, oh, like this isn't that hard. It is really hard, but it's like, oh, I understand like how I can do this now. Like this isn't that scary and intimidating as maybe it once was. And then once you got like a couple of people with that attitude, then you're great. But it is such a niche sport, and it's just, you know, I've lived in Atlanta for I think 6 years now. And I just recently met, like, this woman who I'm, like, trying to be friends with, and she's interested in tricks. But, I don't know. It's just, you gotta nurture it. It's really tricky. I don't know if that was a good answer or not.
No, it's good. We have, in England, we've got the She Swerves. I have to pronounce my S's when I say it, the girls that run that. And we're coming for you, Chan, Kate, Nadine, Jess. We'll get them all on at some point soon. Just got to sort out our calendars for the next couple of months, and they're always promoting that. And having watched all of the ladies in Europe just progress and get better and better and better, and it is just that. It is that. I love the phrase "you're holding space" and just helping the next people come along, and it is that continuous encouragement. And we get certainly in Europe, and I mean, I'm not a racer by any stretch of the imagination whatsoever, but watching our first, second, third, best, fourth, fifth, sixth best riders, male and female, scream at each other in the semi-finals and the heats that they can get through so they can race at each other. And watching them be as angry and as upset as each other and as happy as each other for you come in second, I come in second, and the person comes in first, and I'm just as happy as they are that they came in first. And it's amazing to watch. And I don't think you get that in a lot of sports. And we talk about the community quite a lot here, and that is again one of the big draws of the community is, yes, people are going to compete, yes, people are going to try and outdo each other in tricks and stuff like that, but that just helps everyone progress. And it's just getting more people into that, whether it be male, female, groms, whatever, getting more and more people into that sport is, if we could just bottle that, we could just show that just how lovely it is to encourage people. I think it would be, the sport is expanding obviously, but it'll go exponentially big at some point.
Yes. I mean, 100%. It's just about holding space, showing up, being consistent. And then once you get a little bit of representation, I think it just grows from there. Like, it's not going to be immediate, you know, but it will happen as long as you keep showing up. This was, there was a really special moment this year at Seek and Shred, which I'd never been to Seek and Shred before. It had to fly all the way across the country to go.
Okay.
I had to go to get points to qualify for Race for the Rail because the champion didn't have an automatic bid this year. And so I went all the way there to race. And they have the sickest freestyle course I've ever seen. And I was like, I came here to race. I'm not going to do this competition. But and usually I'm like, sometimes I'm the only woman that's doing the trick competition. But I didn't do it this time. And there were like 4 women that did it. And so like getting to like sit back and be like, I planted this seed.
Yeah.
And to like see it kind of start sprouting and be like, I don't have to be this person that's here all the time anymore. Was so special. So it'll happen. You just gotta trust it'll happen and find somebody special to be like, hey, you should do this. Hey, you're pretty good. Why don't you host a women's clinic? You know, because that's how I started. Was Justin Thompson was like, yo, Rachel, you won Float Life Fest 2, like, you want to host a women's clinic at Float Life Fest 3? And I was like, hell yeah, brother. And so then I had just, like, probably 10 to 15 women I'd never met before, like, show up at Float Life Fest 3 for a clinic. And I, like, taught them a bunch of stuff. And, like, there's that feeling of landing a trick for the first time. And I get that same feeling whenever I coach somebody to land a trick for the first time. I'm like, oh my god, you did it! And then everybody's, like, cheering everybody on. And so yeah, that's kind of how I started, at least with coaching and everything, and developing the women's community.
Nice.
Yeah.
So setting up some women-specific things would definitely help to raise some awareness and get some people involved.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, it's just about finding the right person to kind of spearhead that effort, I guess. Yeah. Which it sounds like you guys have some people. I mean, you got She Swerves.
Yeah.
So maybe just trying to make an effort of, I don't know if you guys do clinics at your events over there, if it's just racing or what it might be, but like maybe holding space and like having a women's clinic of some sort at every event, because people show up, like women's and groms.
It's not a bad shout actually, because I'm sitting here and whenever I talk to anybody at our events, my brain goes into overdrive, different ideas, and I'm literally sat here thinking, well, we have our trick clinics at our event that we held last year, holding it this year, and we'll have all our equipment out. But even some of our guys in our team's like, I didn't want to go over any of the ramps or anything because I was worried everyone's watching me. And these are 40, 50-year-old men going, I don't want people looking at me and making a fool of myself. And then you've got relatively new riders or ladies riding, and they're the only ones thinking exactly the same. So my brain is now going, we'll just do a ladies' clinic, because I remember seeing a lot of the videos from the She Swerves girls from the Algarve when they were practicing, and it was just over and over again, just cheering and egging each other on to do the drops, and watching them all progress was great. From going home after the event, watching the videos online, and then going, well, shit, they did all of those things that they were very, very anxious about doing, the little drops and the big drops, and then watching them in the race going, fuck, that was like a day's progression. And it is just that safe space is what you need to create just to help that progression. We all do it. We all go out, find trails, and as you say, just a quiet place just to practice something can fail and fail and fail and fail and fail. But trying to encourage that at our event when there's 100 other people going, look at them. isn't going to work.
Yeah.
Isn't going to work.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, at Float Life Fest, like we have the whole like freestyle section, and when it's time for the women's clinic, I am like, hey, going up to people, I'm like, hey, we're doing the women's clinic. I need you to leave. Like, this is our time to be out here, because otherwise it's so scary. Like, you have to be so brave to go out there and just play. But if you have a designated time, oh my gosh, sometimes I'm mean. I'm like, you need to leave. Get out of here. And they're like, I had no idea this was I'm like, it's a thing. And so just having somebody be like, I have the authority to take this space right now. This is my space. And I'm going to protect these women. And we're going to do this and have fun. Like, it's so fun. Like, doing it on the main stage with just, like, group of women, being, like, led by somebody who knows what they're doing is, like, I think it's
just having the practice just to play and everybody learns from each other. You know, you get a bunch of kids together with one wheels and no adult supervision, and they will just push each other constantly because they don't care if someone's watching. It's not on their mindset that people's opinions don't matter to children. And they just go. Exactly. And they'll fall off, they'll get up and they won't go, was somebody watching me make the mistake? I do it all the time. If I'm riding or something, I go past people in the street, go, don't fuck up, don't fuck up, don't fuck up, don't fuck up. And I'm just riding in a straight line. You know, my brain just goes, look at that lamppost over there. You're going to start riding towards it now. That hazard fixation. Yeah. To just have that space is important.
Yeah, there's something about failing in front of other people and then getting back up and doing it again anyways.
Yep.
That is so special. Because if you can learn a curb nudge with a bunch of people watching you, you can throw a curb nudge in a group ride, you know? Like, I don't know. So there's something special there. I fail all the time. Shoot. You're not going to get better unless you start failing, you know?
It has been genuinely a genuine pleasure to have you on with us tonight, this afternoon, whatever day of the week it is. Vinny's waiting for breakfast or whatever he's going to have. His pizza for breakfast tomorrow morning at this rate.
Yes.
Very honored.
I'm about ready for some dessert now, actually, to be honest. I might just see if I could whip up a bit of a trifle.
I'll take the whole menu after this. Very, very honored to be able to talk to you today and to get to know you a little bit better, Rachel.
Yeah. No, I would love to come back. Like I said, I'm loving what y'all are doing with the podcast. Obviously, you got a long list before you invite me back, but I would love to come back and chat racing or chat whatever you guys want. This has been a lot of fun.
It's going to be tricks.
It's going to be tricks.
To hell with the racing now. It's tricks. Tricks in Doc Martin boots.
Yes, not in the boots. I need to find. Yeah.
No,
anyways, we can start a whole other.
Mark, you're referring to the other game we just invented. So
yes,
that's why we need the boots and the army.
Yes, you guys were hilarious. All right, well, I have to hop off because I do have another call. But
that's cool.
You guys have a great night.
Thank you for being here.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Cheers.
Man, where do these people get all this energy from? I guess it's 2:00 in the afternoon, but. That was good fun. Another excellent, good fun interview. I love it.
Yeah, what a woman. She's been so heads on the one wheel and such a fun person in real life as we just experienced. So cool to get to know these people a little better through this podcast. I mainly like there's a lot of stuff in my head, but it never comes out when I make a YouTube video on my own. But having a good conversation always triggers your brain to talk about stuff you never think about. So cheers to that.
Yeah, and you are so happy she mentioned the OG Vega tire for tricks. You were so happy. Your little face lit up beautifully.
Yeah, it's a thing. I've been riding that Vega in the beginning, and but that was the first thing. Like if I started putting out videos, like you gotta change that tire.
Yeah,
everybody commented that, and I was like, I'm fine on the tire for what I do. But then I got into trail riding, and it was a different story.
Yeah, a mate of ours, Andrew, he's just now upgraded to an XR, but he's probably done about, I think he said 2,500 miles on his Vega tire, and on a pint with a V&R kit, and it's fine. He was like, how can you do the trails? I'm there with a TFL Enduro and all the rest of it, or at a treaded Hoosier tire on the pint. I've only just taken off my kid's pint. I went, no, you need a treaded tire and all the rest. He was like, I'm fine with this. Absolutely. I mean, I've got some videos of him slapping down on his ass a few times where the rest of us have just gone down the trails quite beautifully. But he was fine with it until he's got his XR. It was the perfect tire for him, as you say.
Mm.
You ride to what you've got, and you ride to what you need. I was in that chat. I was surprised when she said she wasn't racing in 2025. However, being the 3-time champion, I mean, you're pushing it at 4, and she could probably win it. You watch the video; she's got some hard skills there. But I'm interested to see, once she's had her holidays, to see these trick videos. I think we're going to see a lot more trick videos, maybe some bit more landscape gardening as well, with a couple of little pop shove-its in there as well. A little chain link fence. I want to see. There you go, Rachel. I want to see a chain link fence, little picket chain link fence, and you're doing a hippie jump over the chain link fence.
Yeah, and it's cool to see like women also tackle the freestyle stuff, because I recently got contacted on Instagram by a lady that is doing tricks in Norway, and she's really going.
I saw it came up on my feed actually, and I was watching them. I was like, "Whoa!" Like the slides and stuff, the rail slides and things. I was like, "Impressive, very impressive."
So, yeah, it's cool to see the ladies also tackle the freestyle and improving on that front. And I'm really curious to see what Cecil got in store for next year, because she's always going hard. So on that note, we're thanking you to join us again in this episode. If you have been watching to here, give the video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you like what we do. It really helps in getting these things out there. And do hit the bell if you don't want to miss anything. Mark, take it away.
Vinie, go and enjoy your pizza time and keep that nose up.
Peace out.